Hello and thank you for joining us on the Pigskin Preview. Alongside the head coach of the Western Illinois football team, Mark Hendrickson, I'm Andrew Bacon. Last weekend, the Leathernecks took on the Northern Iowa Panthers. The Panthers this season were only 2-6 going into the game. However, UNI has had one of the toughest schedules in all of FCS football. The Leathernecks, though, were unable to pull away with the victory against the tough Panthers.
Unfortunately, that's true. We did not come out with the results that we planned for, that we worked for. Offensively, it was a frustrating ball game. Defense, really stayed on schedule for where they want to be throughout this season. The scoreboard didn't indicate how well they really played throughout the ball game, and there's nothing the Leathernecks can do but prepare very, very well for the next ball game, and that's what we'll do.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the highlights. First off here, it's UNI with the ball, and we're going to see David Johnson with no gain as Martinez Davis with the great first play of the game.
Defense, again, had a lot of good snaps, very productive in this game much of the time. 93, Dwight Harris, you see our senior captain there. Second play of the game, pass is broken up
By Martinez Davis, and he had 3 breakups throughout the entire game.
Martinez, continues to play his corner spot very, very well.
And then here it's going to be Ryan Deming getting to the quarterback as he tries to pick up the first down, and he only picks up 5. We're going to go back to another possession by UNI later on in the game, and here it's going to be Carlos Anderson rushing for 8. Currently, the score, by the way, is 9-0, excuse me, as there was a safety and a touchdown earlier. Again, it's the quarterback here, and coach really showed off his mobility, more known as a passer, but obviously, as we see there, he has some mobility and can make plays outside of the pocket.
They mixed in some option throughout the ball game, and that's tough to defend when a team does it just a few snaps a ball game, and they executed the option pretty well there.
And then here it is once again, Cole Morgan looking for his receiver in the end zone, and it's a tough call here, but it would be a touchdown as the ball just breaks the plane. And it will be now 16-0, and now it's once again UNI with the ball as Western had some struggles early on the offense. And it's Cole Morgan once again looking to run. He's going to pick up the first down. However, on this next play, the defense is going to create a turnover as we see Trey Garvey with the great pick.
Outstanding concentration there by Trey. Trey came to us from a junior college and actually is a safety for us. And yet, because of our injuries with Chris Boone and Kieron James, our starting corners out, we've moved Trey to the cornerback position, and he's played there very well the last couple of weeks and came up with a big pick for us there and gave us some momentum.
And then the offense here really getting going, as you said, with the momentum, as we see Hayden Northern completing a pass to Fredson Solomon.
Real good protection there. You saw Jimmy Holschlag up front, our right tackle, and a good strike from Hayden Northern right to Freddie on the sideline there.
And that's Colton Ray picking up 5 yards, and now it's going to be second quarter. And once again, the Leathernecks offense still on the field, and it's another pickup by Colton Ray of 1 yard. Unfortunately, a false start is going to move him back, though, and it's going to be a pass to Fredson Solomon, unable to pick up the third down.
Yes, we had a third down and 3 situation there, and then got moved back by a couple of penalties, and that was frustrating on this particular drive. We'd moved the ball very well, and we were in position to use the 4th down to go for it, but because of a couple of penalties, we got pushed back. 3rd and long here, 3rd and very long, and we ran a draw play, and then had to punt the ball away there.
And unfortunately, the Leathernecks would go down 30-0 at halftime. Stay tuned, though, as we're going to take a quick break, and we'll review the second half when we return. This is the Pigskin Preview.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
If you could see anything in the world, what would it be?
I'd love to see Paris.
I like to see cupcakes falling from the sky.
My daughter, married and happy.
I want to see things the way I used to.
Chances are, someone you love may one day be affected by macular degeneration or glaucoma. Log on to seeabettertomorrow.org or call 1-800-437-2423 to learn about glaucoma and macular degeneration. Call 1-800-437-2423 or log on to seeabettertomorrow.org.
I just want to see more of the things I love.
Welcome back to the Pigskin Preview. Coach, going to locker room down, what did you say to the team?
Well, it wasn't the score that we wanted to have, of course, on the scoreboard. Offensively, we just couldn't, get in any sort of rhythm. We couldn't keep UNI's offense off the field, and that made it very tough for us defensively. And yet again, defense played well for the number of snaps they had to take in that first half. We wanted again, take the approach that scoreboard didn't matter. We just needed to play well each snap. Each snap of offense, defense, kicking game. When you're on the field, the team was challenged. Play the best that you can. Let's improve during this half, and then see what happens to the scoreboard.
Let's go ahead and jump into the second half. And here we're going to go ahead and start off with Northern Iowa with the ball, and it's going to be David Johnson right back to the running game as he's going to get three yards here, and then again Johnson for another for another about a 5-yard gain here. And Coach, he had a phenomenal game. He had a career game this season as he had 149 yards, and he played outstanding for this Panther team.
He's a good ball player. There's J.J. Raffleson chasing him downfield on the tackle. J.J., our freshman Mike linebacker in the middle, led the team in tackles. Again, he's just been very consistent this year.
And the Leathernecks defense here really doing well not to let any big plays happen during this drive as they contain the defense of the offense of the Panthers, and so they're forced to kick the field goal, only allowing it to be 3 points for UNI. And then
good stop there by our defense. That was very good. And of course, on third down, UNI went with the screenplay there. Good stop to force them to attempt the field goal.
And then here it's Western with the ball as we see Hayden Northern sacked for 8 yards. And the front line of UNI was tremendous as they had 4 sacks on the day. And then here Hayden Northern with the great pass to Fred Solomon and getting the good 40-yard pickup, and that'll be the longest throw of the day for Hayden.
Good route by Fred Solomon there, of course, to get deeper than the Northern Iowa secondary. Good job of Hayden finding him and getting the ball to him. Here we took a shot in the end zone. The Freddie just about had it. Fred was held on that play, so it gave us a first down. And there he took a shot at Charles Chestnut on a route moving to the inside. We call it a dig route. And here he was forced to flip the ball out to Carlton Ray into the flat as a dump man. And we're at third down, and we had Kyle Rabisky on a good route, good throw. And we're still driving and going for the first down right here on this fourth down situation. We called a sprint to the left. Had a shot at a receiver there and misfired and didn't convert.
And later on in the third quarter, as it was ending, here's a pass by Hayden Northern to Malik Johnson, another freshman. And then here's Hayden giving it off to Fredson Solomon for a 7-yard pickup.
Malik Johnson, a true freshman for us out of Hawaii, has really developed into a good receiver throughout the year, has really improved a great deal. And of course, Fred, a newcomer for us this year, has been very productive with the football in his hands.
And now it's to the run game as Nico Watson's going to pick up 2 yards. And then on third down, it's Nico Watson. And once again, he's going to get that first down for the Leathernecks. And then again, right back to Nico Watson. Once he gets going, Coach, it's hard to stop him. 5 yards here, another couple yards here. And then on 3rd and 3, go ahead and just see if Nico can get it. Unable to as he only gets a yard. And on 4th down, Coach, you decide to go ahead and go for it.
And we did not make it on this 4th down attempt. That was another frustrating snap. Certainly the ball game. Like to kept that drive alive, going into going into toward our end zone. Jimmy Holschlag played well at right tackle. Jeff Lindsley played well at our left tackle spots. Those two tackles have been pretty consistent this year, and of course Andrew Rubisky's been a good leader for us as a team captain and as offensive center position.
Unfortunately for the Leathernecks, they would not be able to find the end zone at all, and the Panthers would go on to win it 40-0. Let's go ahead and take a look at the box score. And then as we see, Hayden Northern finished 9 of 18 for 97 yards. Nico Watson had 14 carries for 52 yards. Fredson Solomon led the receivers with 3 receptions and 53 yards. Malik Johnson, 2 receptions, 31 yards. J.J. Raffleson led the defense in tackles with 11. And then David McDaniels, who had a career high of 10 tackles in the game. Yes,
again, outstanding job overall by the defense. David McDaniel continues to play good football for us as well. Kevin Kensel and Theon Dixon played well at their linebacker spot. And we've got to become more consistent on offense and stay on the field longer offensively, move the chains, and therefore, keep our defense off the field.
And one thing that you just mentioned, David McDaniels and Kevin Kensel, both sophomores for this Leatherneck defense, and so there'll be 9 returners for next year, so there's a lot of experience for these newer guys on defense.
That is for sure. Right now, unfortunately, based on injuries, we've got 2 seniors that play most of the snaps. Dwight Harris at defensive end and Theon Dixon, at a linebacker spot. Then Jamel Wilmore also does back up JJ there in the middle.
All right. Well, we're going to take another short break, but stay tuned. As up next, we'll hear from tight ends senior Allie Walker and freshman Scott Simpson, along with previewing this weekend's game against Youngstown State. You're watching the Pigskin Preview.
Are these real?
The best quality.
You mean they're fake?
Only a few dollars.
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 It's not only a few dollars. Counterfeit goods take away jobs, and many are tied to violence and crimes, including child labor, drugs, and gangs. You have the power to stop it. Know the real cost. Don't buy counterfeits.
Your heart rate's a little fast.
Cause of death, acute myocardial infarction.
Have you tried a weight loss program?
Likely caused by type 2 diabetes and heart disease.
Still smoking?
Victim's lungs are black and scarred.
You can get a physical exam now, or you can get one later. Talk to your doctor about a physical. Learn how to lower your risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease and live a healthier life.
People have good hearts. During times of disaster, they donate food, clothing, and other necessities. However, this leads to the cost of packing, transportation, and storage, which is why money is more effective. Give with your heart. Cash is best. For more information, visit www.cidi.org.
Welcome back to the Pigskin Preview. This week, I caught up with tight end senior Allie Walker and freshman Scott Simpson. This season, a total of 3 of the 5 captains for the Leathernecks have missed games due to injuries. 2 of the 3 sustained season-ending injuries. This has led several other seniors to step up and be another leader players can look to.
I think it definitely has changed a lot of things. We came into the season with a lot of good captains, but with them going down with injury, especially Max, you got to step up on the offensive side of the ball. We had a lot of young guys playing this year, so it definitely is a big key for people like me and the other seniors to step up.
I think it's been important for Allie to step up as a senior leader. With the loss of other captains, he was a candidate that could have been a captain, and so with the loss of them, it was important for him to step into the role that he could have had.
I think just being more vocal in practice, helping out young guys like Taylor and Scott when they need help and stuff like that, and helping other offensive linemen when I can. Just trying to be more vocal and helpful whenever they need help.
Over the course of being a Leatherneck, Allie Walker has made positional adjustments switching between being an offensive lineman and a tight end for whatever the team needs.
I think it's all kind of just in your mindset. You know, it's really not that much different, with the exception, you know, obviously tight ends go out for passes, but for the most part, it's a lot of the same. You know, you just got to be physical and you got to come off the ball. You know, obviously with the exception of route running, it's a lot of the same concepts, a lot of the same steps, a lot of the same, you know, angles and stuff like that. You just got to be a little bit more athletic to play tight end and definitely have a better mind. You know, you got to be smart to play O-line, but, you know, you got to add in the passing game, you know, with routes and different coverages for tight ends, so that's definitely a different aspect of it. I think playing tight end is definitely my favorite because you have the opportunity to catch the ball. That's definitely, you know, definitely a plus from playing O-line. You know, O-line's a lot of fun, but, you know, being able to catch the football is definitely a plus.
Ali is from Neuqua Valley High School in Naperville, Illinois. And this season, the Leathernecks have gained another tight end from his hometown.
It's definitely a lot of fun, you know, messing around with Scott a little bit, you know, being able to connect with somebody on a different level other than Western Illinois football, but be able to take it back home and talk about, you know, different players from back home, different people that we know. So it's definitely something cool that we can always, you know, bond over and connect over.
It's been really nice having Ali, not only through football, but we're able to talk about things back home, and if I ever needed anything, I knew that he'd be there if I needed to call him, and he'd be able to help me out.
Naperville, Illinois has been a great area for producing several professional athletes, and the city also has 5 different high schools, which all play in the highest class for football in the state of Illinois.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal. You know, it's a big talent pool out there. You know, they just opened up the new high school, so they got 5 schools out there now. So it's definitely a big talent pool, so I would definitely encourage them to keep going back out there. And they definitely got some players. You know, Nico's 11-0 right now, playing with Bonzi, who's 10-1. You know, they got a lot of players coming out, so hopefully Western can get a few of them.
Naperville's a real pipeline for big athletes. I mean, Nico's 11-0 right now, and they're going up another school that's 10-1 in the 3rd round of the playoffs right now.
Ali, being a senior and from Neuqua Valley, has helped out Scott Simpson in his transition to college, as they will always share a bond by being from the same high school and now the same college.
I think definitely I've helped Scott. You know, he's had a few questions on different formations and stuff like that when he first got here, so I definitely try to help him in that aspect. And you know, he doesn't have as many questions now that he's down there on scout team. But you know, if he ever does, you know, he knows he can call me, and you know, as long as they don't change the offense or anything too drastic, I should be able to have the answer for him. So I've just tried to help him in any aspect that he's got.
Not as much through football, but just about getting through college and staying on top of things and things that will just help you become successful in the future.
Ali being a senior and Scott being a freshman, Ali is able to pass the torch in a way to the young tight end and keep the tradition of having a Neuqua Valley player in the ranks of the T unit.
It definitely means a lot, you know, like I said earlier, being able to connect with somebody on not just Western football, but, you know, Neuqua football. So it's definitely something special that hopefully, you know, he'll represent it well, and maybe one day they'll bring in another tight end and you can just keep on going. That'd be a pretty cool thing.
Coach, these 2 tight ends, Ali Walker and Scott Simpson, are both from Naperville, Illinois, a city that is very competitive and has a lot of college D1 athletes come out of. How important is it to recruit from these cities?
Well, we have a lot of ball players on our squad from the Chicago metro area. A lot of them from the city of Chicago, then a lot of them from the suburbs of Chicago. A lot of outstanding football is played there, as it is throughout the entire state of Illinois. We have a large number of our players from our home state of Illinois, and you know, Ali and Scott are both from Neuqua Valley High School. They're in Naperville, and of course, once you get a connection into a certain school, a specific school, so like having Ali here, that helps lead to recruiting, you know, future players at that school, and then also in that entire area. And again, the Chicago metro area is very important in our recruiting process.
Speaking of Ali, how important has it been to have a leader on and off the field like Ali?
Well, Ali has been an outstanding leader for us, as you mentioned, on and off the field both. You know, unfortunately, he's been, as we say, nicked up, you know, more than he'd want to be in his career. You know, he's missed quite a bit of playing time. But even when he was out, he's always a very positive role model for his teammates, and especially for the younger players.
And then another thing that's had to help Ali, or had to make Ali step up more, it's just been the injuries to the other seniors, as 3 of the 5 current senior captains are out. So I guess being a leader this year has really helped for Ali's sake to kind of show that he can step up.
No question about that. You know, we're fortunate that we've had Allie here for his 5 years. He's done an outstanding job for us, and I know Scott has learned a lot from Allie, and will be following in his first footsteps. And then in between those two, we have two other very good tight ends. You know, Mason Howington has played a lot this year, and then we've got a redshirt freshman playing this year as a redshirt freshman, and Taylor Hill out of Rochester, Illinois. And I know those two have learned a lot from Allie as well.
And a unique situation for Allie is he's been from an offensive lineman to tight end, switching back and forth. How's it been nice to have a player that's able to switch back and forth to whatever the team needs?
Well, it does help for a player to be versatile. It doesn't always happen in Division I football, but in Allie's case, he has been able to play more than one position for us during his career, and that's offensive line and tight end for us. Allie played defensive line at Neuqua Valley. Tight ends are hard to find. So when we evaluated Allie on tape, we felt like, you know, he might be able to be an offensive lineman or a tight end for us, you know, off of that tape as a defensive lineman. And again, he's come through for us.
All right, let's go ahead and preview this weekend's game against the Youngstown State Penguins. The Penguins are currently 5-4 overall and have a 2-4 record in conference. Youngstown State started off the season 4-0 with a huge upset win over Pittsburgh. Going into the game this weekend, though, the Penguins just broke their 4-game losing streak against South Dakota. Coach, what else can you tell us about this Youngstown State team?
Well, they're a very good football team, like every program, you know, in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. As you mentioned, they started off 4-0 with a victory over Pitt, and they looked very, very strong. And I know that when they were at 4-0 and they'd won a couple of conference games, you know, people thought they might end up at the top of the heap when this season was over in the Missouri Valley Conference. And then, because of the strength of our conference, they did lose 4 conference games in a row. And then they came back this past Saturday with a victory over South Dakota, you know, to put them at 5-4 at this time.
Youngstown State, a very high-powered offense. Last year they were top 10, and this year, once again, even though the record is only 5-4, they're still a powerhouse on offense.
They're productive on both sides of the ball, and very, very efficient on offense with what they do. They've got a very strong defensive line. You know, maybe the best defensive line we've seen up to this point in time.
All right, thank you, Coach. We are now going to take another quick break, but stay tuned, as up next we'll take a look at the Missouri Valley Conference thus far.
Hi, I'm Polly Perrette. On NCIS, I play a forensic scientist. I've noticed that young people, girls in particular, don't have a lot of role models for careers in science, engineering, and technology. Here's the real problem. Not enough students are going into these fields anymore. So where does the next generation of scientists, engineers, and technologists come from? Here's the truth of the matter. In the coming years, engineering and technology are where the jobs are going to be. But if our young people don't see the excitement in these careers, they won't pursue them, and they'll be the ones who will lose out. I mean, think about the main character in the movie Iron Man, an engineer. Not only the character, but how about the role engineering and technology play in helping to bring a movie's creative vision to the screen? The reality is this. Engineers are creative problem solvers. They come up with the ideas that are solutions to the everyday needs of you and me. They help shape our future, and they're essential to our health, our safety, and our happiness. As they say in our industry, ready on the set and action. In this case, SET means science, engineering, and technology. And being ready makes all the difference for our future. We need your ideas. We're counting on everyone working together to fix this. Parents and teachers, let's inspire our young people. Engineers, be mentors to kids in your community. Share your story and the love of your field. Media, show kids how exciting these fields can be by spotlighting great accomplishments by engineers, scientists, and technologists. Kids, seek your dreams. Study hard, follow your imagination, and pursue careers in science, engineering, and technology. Learn more about how you can help by going to eiconline.org/readyontheset and make your commitment.
For others, it may have just been a summer job. But for me, it was training. Now I'm an Air Force pararescueman, and my job is to save lives. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Winston, just one more inning, Grandma.
Ever notice how many things today kids can do without actually moving? A whole lot of things their parents used to do the hard way. So many kids' activities today seem to leave out the activity part, which makes exercise even more important for children. In fact, new research tells us the best time to enhance bone development is during childhood and adolescence. And just getting children to walk an extra 35 minutes a day could spare them the pain of thinning bones later in life. Healthy bones come from healthy habits. Encourage your kids to get up, get out, and get moving.
Hello.
Hey, Grandma, how about another grape soda?
A public service message on building strong bones for kids from the Pediatric Orthopedic Society of North America and the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Welcome back. Here are the scores of the Missouri Valley teams from last weekend. South Dakota, as we said, lost to Youngstown State 13-10. South Dakota State beat Southern Illinois 16-12. North Dakota State ended Missouri State's winning streak 21-17 as North Dakota State had to pull out that in the fourth quarter. Illinois State beat Indiana State 17-10. And then, as we said, Western lost to Northern Iowa. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings now. North Dakota State and South Dakota State both are on top as they are each 5-1. Illinois State and Indiana State are both 5-2. Southern Illinois is 4-3. Missouri State is 3-4. And then Youngstown State and Northern Iowa are 2-4 in conference. And Western is 1-5 in conference. And then South Dakota is still looking for a conference win. Let's go ahead and preview this weekend's matchup. South Dakota State will go to North Dakota State. Northern Iowa will travel to South Dakota. And a lot of teams this week, Coach, on byes. Indiana State, Illinois State, Missouri State, Southern Illinois will all have bye weeks, and Western will take on Youngstown State.
Yeah, a lot's going to be determined in these last two weekends of ball games. Obviously, right now, the Missouri Valley Conference could have 4 teams in the national playoffs, which would not be a big surprise. On the other hand, depending how the games fall, we could end up with 2 teams.
And once again, Missouri Valley Conference, you don't know what's going to happen until the final week is done, Coach. Anyone out of several of the teams could make it into the playoffs. Like you said, it could be 4, it could be 2. You're not going to know until that last week. It is. Let's go ahead and now get to the 2-minute drill. And so our first question here, Coach, is as a coach, where has been your favorite place or favorite experience that you've coached at or been to a game that you coached at?
Well, there's no doubt that my favorite experience, favorite place to have been, has been in Macomb, Illinois, and coaching at Western Illinois University. Been here the longest. This is my 14th season here, and my family grew up here. My 3 children. So Eric and I have had a great time here in Macomb. As far as a specific experience, I spent 9 years at Georgia Tech, and in one of those seasons in 1990, we went undefeated and won the national championship. So specifically, that was, professionally speaking, that was certainly a fun moment, that's for sure.
And just in general, just as a person, going around to different places, where's been your favorite place that you've ever gotten to go to?
Boy, unfortunately, I've been able to travel to a lot of places around the world, and Eric and I have had a great time traveling. I guess I'll say that's when we were younger, before the children. But when the children were younger, we took a family vacation to the Grand Canyon, and that was a very special place. Obviously, a place you really can't describe. You have to see it. So that was a lot of fun for the family to spend time there at the Grand Canyon.
What about out of the country? Where have you been outside of the country, outside the U.S.?
Eric and I traveled through quite a bit of Europe. We had a pretty special day. One Sunday morning, we spent in St. Peter's Cathedral in the Vatican in Rome, Italy, and we were there for a 3-hour mass with the Pope, and again, we're not Catholic, but it was a very powerful experience, that's for sure.
All right, well, that's all the time that we have this week on the Pigskin Preview. For head coach Mark Hendrickson, I'm Andrew Baker. Thanks for watching.